All right, we got more U.S. news, and it's not good. Tyler Adams looking at another lengthy layoff as the 25-year-old midfielder apparently underwent back surgery shortly after Copa America. Adams played 45 minutes against Bolivia, 45 against Panama, and 90 against Uruguay. The real kicker to the story, though, is that Adams actually carried the back injury into the tournament. Here's his club coach, Bournemouth's Andoni Iraola, with more.
He finished the season with us with an injury in his back. He wanted to play the Copa America, obviously very important for him. He went through the tournament, but he was with minute restriction, as you know, feeling still pain in his back, and I think next day or in 2 days after they were out from the competition, he had surgery. He had surgery again in his back. So actually he's out, and he will be out for some time. But it was the decision that he had to take because he couldn't play with this pain. No?
I don't know about you, man. I hear those words, and to me, especially as he kind of explains the timeline of the injury, it feels like a almost gross mishandling of the player. Am I wrong in saying that? You always are the one to tell me, Herc, that you got to protect players from themselves. So who does that responsibility at the end of the day fall on? It's either the manager or it's the medical staff.
Medical staff's managers, and that's, I think, where it gets tricky here. Listen, I'm not going to fault Tyler Adams for wanting to play for his country, but you can clearly see in that Panama game, the first goal, he's laboring. He can't get to the ball, he can't close it down on time. He looks like a shadow of himself. He comes out at halftime. Okay, we see him come out at halftime. He clearly wasn't himself. He's always going to want to play. So I will never, ever go against a player there. That's why you need somebody to help you. You need somebody to save the player from themselves because these things can and will happen. Exhibit A. From what I just heard, this happened in Bournemouth, and they knew about the pain, right? But he was still playing. So it's managing pain. Same thing happened here. You can't tell Greg Berhalter, the U.S. men's national team, don't use him, because if we say he's fit enough to go, he's fit enough to play. This minute scouts from the beginning was a joke. You either say he's not fit and he can't play, or guess what? He's fit and he will play as we see fit. The problem is here is I think it was grossly mishandled by both camps. I think it was mishandled by Bournemouth. I think it was mishandled by Greg Berhalter and the U.S. men's national team. It was evident to everybody watching. We mentioned this. And why did we mention this? Why did we say this could be a problem? Because of this. Now you have a player who, quite frankly, for as talented as he is, his biggest hurdle has been getting and staying on the field. We're talking about untapped talents, unfulfilled talents in U.S. men's national team's soccer history, a John O'Brien, a Stuart Holden, and now we're going to put Tyler Adams. Well, he's clearly going down that route. It's very evident. He's had hamstring issues. He's had 2 surgeries on him, and now this is back. This is his back. It's all connected. And before that, it was his groin when he was at Leipzig. So this is clearly something that's been following around. And I do not fault the player. It's not the player's fault that this happens. Tyler Adams is mentally as strong as they come, and I want to break whatever is in him and put some more of that in a lot of these players in the U.S. national team pool. But when it comes to his body staying fit, that is an issue. That has clearly been an issue.
When I think about responsibility here, to me it's got to be Greg Berhalter because it doesn't happen in a vacuum, as we often say on this show. Like we now know that Greg Berhalter knew he was hurt. You know about his injury history. You know he played like 138 minutes all season for Bournemouth. And on top of that, there is this, I think, frankly, an obsession from Greg Berhalter with Tyler Adams, almost to the point where you feel like he's ignoring other guys in the pool, right? You know all of this has happened in the last year with Tyler Adams. Not only do you call him in, not only do you give him this big role, but you almost can't help yourself but use him, and to the detriment not just of Adams very clearly, but I think to your point, to the team as well. I mean, I'm not saying that the reason that they don't get out of the group phase is because he hung with Tyler Adams, but I don't think it helped. I certainly don't think it helped. And I wonder now as we move forward to kind of what you're getting at here, is it time for that next coach when they come in, when they, first look at the whiteboard and start building the team and the spine of the team, can you really put Tyler Adams in there anymore? Or is it time to kind of go the Johnny Cardozo route? Go the I don't know who's like Leonard Maloney.
Leonard Maloney,
the next
yeah.
guy. I mean, those are a couple
Bundesliga.
guys who are starting every week in their respective leagues. I think everybody would still say, on paper, Tyler Adams is maybe ahead of those guys.
Aiden
Bournemouth
Morris,
paid
who's
$25
now
million.
going in the championship. There
Yeah.
are different routes you can.
Is
go
it time to move on?
Well, maybe not move on, but certainly explore. I think this is what makes things worse. To your point, is you had an opportunity to trust another player, but and I think a lot of that has been merited by Tyler Adams, that he's earned the trust of these coaches. Obviously, his club coach values him. Obviously, Greg Berhalter has valued him. He's earned that trust. But you're not allowing other players to earn that trust. You've not put Johnny Cardoso in a position to even fail. He could have a bad game in a friendly like he did against Colombia, and we're not going to see him again in a prominent role for another 4 or 5 games, because that's literally been the trend that has been set with these players. So it's not necessarily that you trust Adams so much, is that you've not given these other players an opportunity to kind of either succeed or fail, and that's a dangerous thing.
You might not see him on the field, but Bournemouth will be on our air in the coming days. They're a part of our summer friendly series. They're taking on Arsenal. Producer Beto will be very excited about that one. A game Wednesday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time, not far from here, actually, over in Carson, California. Make sure to check it out. Wrexham and Chelsea also Wednesday on ESPN Plus, as well as on ESPN Deportes.